Okay, everybody, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, everybody online. Um, okay, everybody, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, everybody online. Um, this is the Hebrew Chosen Elect Shabbat reading. Sabbath class we hold every Shabbat from roughly 2 to 4, getting a little bit of a late start today. So like you for that. This week we'll be picking back up in our reading. We left off 2 weeks ago at the book of Exodus chapter 17. Last week we didn't have class due to being in attendance to Hamashah Yasha'Allah 22nd Hebrew Summit in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a great time, good event. Blessing to see all the different camps, brothers and sisters that came out to Atlanta to the summit. So we back this week, picking right back up. Before we get started, though, we'll go into our announcements and then into the reading. So let me share my screen. And we'll go straight into upcoming high holy days and new moons. Upcoming high holy days and new moons. But while I pull that up, also reminds me we're in a current Folly Day weekend, 4th of July. So also we last week had the Hebrew Summit. Yesterday we was in attendance to in Atlantic City community unity camp with the servants in Atlantic City, and also AOC, Ambassadors of Christ, rebuking the 4th of July. It was a mighty camp. Lots of edification went out, and Most High willing, somebody was reached yesterday, and will now turn from their ways of the world and come into the truth, and come back into the fold of being an Israelite and keeping the commandments of the Most High Yahweh, Most High willing. But either way, all that to the Most High will. It was a mighty camp, and the word went out. So death to Babylon and death to all the folly days that come with it. What we're supposed to be keeping is the high holy days appointed to us in the Bible, in the Torah, and also the new moons as subscribed by the Torah. So our first announcement, upcoming new moons and high holy days. We actually just had new moon while in Atlanta during the summit weekend on June 26th. So we will, with that passed, the next new moon will be exactly a month from then, July the 26th. So next new moon, the 5th month of the Hebrew year, the 5th new moon, July 26th. So instead of celebrating the 4th of July, make sure that you come back July 26th and you celebrate that with as much energy and joy and gladness as you was out here celebrating the 4th of July yesterday. And man, they was out last night. They was out. I drove home through the city, Kalak. It looked like a block party on every street. It looked like a small block party on every single street. Riding through East Side, riding through West Side. It was crazy. All for a holiday that has nothing to do with us, right? And obviously the boardwalk was jumping, right? Everybody was out, celebrating, happy, joyous. Celebrate the freeing of the United States from British rule. Yeah. But during that time, 1776, where was blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians? They was in slavery. or stuck on a reservation, scratching to get something to eat, right? So yeah, let's do as the Bible says and keep the new moons and the high holy days ordained by the Most High. So July 26th, the next new moon, next high holy day is we just did Pentecost first fruits. So the next high holy day will be the Feast of Trumpets, September 28th at sundown. And then after that, Day of Atonement and Feast of Tabernacles, all within the course of couple weeks. So we look forward to that. I'm sure, I look forward to getting together with brothers and sisters to keep these high holy days and have a good time feasting and drinking and fellowshipping as we're supposed to do, as opposed to once again keep celebrating these folly days as 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. That's all part of repentance. So let me skip that because that was the summit flyer. We just had that. Contact information, you can contact me through Facebook if we are Israel, Gemaria Yasha'Allah. And you can contact Yakinan, who wasn't able to be here today. You can contact him on Facebook at Brandon Daniels, Yakinan Maccabee Yasha'Allah. And you can also, if you're not already a part of our Facebook group, please join the Rise of the Chosen public. It's a public group, Facebook group for Israelites and those that believe in that we're Israelites and keeping the laws of God and looking for edification, or just sharing content about the wickedness of the world, wickedness of Esau, or the different things going on in the world today that's fulfilling the prophecies. Come to our group and get into that way. Also, please like, share, subscribe our YouTube channels for content and edification. We have the two channels, ACP Red Pill Reality and ACE Reloaded, both of which are on the screen. So once again, please like and share. That's it for announcements. And now we'll get straight to it, back into the reading. The book of Exodus should be a very edifying class today through the course of the reading. We're going to tackle a couple different subjects. We're going to tackle the standard of leaders, the qualities that we should look for in our leaders or in ourselves. If we're striving to be leaders, which we all should be striving to be a leader. Because no matter what, you are the leader of somebody. You are a leader to your children. You're a leader to different family members that might not be as far along in the walk as you are. You're a leader to your local community, being most likely the sole individual in your on your block or vicinity that the Most High has decided to awaken and to give his knowledge and to direct you in his paths. That makes you a leader. And then inside of the community, if it be the Israelite community or your individual camp, there's leaders there too. And there's certain qualities that we all as leaders have to keep up. And we're going to touch on that through the reading today. We're going to go into the covenant, big topic, a big topic in the world. And then also in the community or in the debates between Christians and Israelites is, what covenant are we in? We in the old, we in the new? I throw out there, I got another outlook that maybe we all should consider. Are we in covenant at all? Are we in covenant at all when we're in punishment and curses and captivity? Right? So we're going to delve into that. and then we're going to go into we're in Exodus. We're about to start seeing the do's and don'ts of the law as we read on from this point. We're really going to get into that in detail, examine that, maybe look into things that might have been overlooked in our regular day-to-day readings. So, good class today in the reading. A lot of information, edification is going to come out, right? So, enough of being long-winded about it. We can get straight into it. Everybody, if you're not already there, go ahead and flip to the book of Exodus, chapter 18, verse 1. Exodus chapter 18, verse 1, and I'll read. And it goes, when Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that Yahweh had done for Moses and for Israel's people, and that Yahweh had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I have been an alien in a strange land. And the name of the other was Eleazar, for the God of my father said he was mine help. And that's what Eleazar means, right? You guys paying attention? Our names, as our real culture and custom was, most of the time your name will have meaning. That's what we've been seeing throughout all the scriptures, even up till now. Even the names of the 12 sons of Israel, right? Yashakar, Issachar, meaning he is higher. Judah, Yahweh, meaning Yahweh's praise. Levi, meaning what was it? Lawyer, I believe. Either way, all the names were given for a meaning. There's a meaning behind our names. And so the same with Moses, he named his one son Gershom because he was an alien in a strange land. And then Eleazar, he named the God of my father was mine help. Eleazar means Yahweh, the Elohim is my help, I believe. Let me get that real quick. Where we at? 20 verse. No, we're 18. 18 verse 4. Yeah, so it's Allah. Allah Yaitazar. I'm probably butchering it. But yeah, so the Allah is my help. Allah is my help. Given reverence, obviously, his Allah is not the Muslim Allah, it's Yahweh. So that's what Eleazar means. For example, my name, Gemaria, means Yahweh accomplished. Elijah means, I forget what Elijah means. But when you see a Yah at the end, that usually signifies Yahweh, right? And then it's either he's your, like Yahweh Shai means Yahweh saves. So all the names have meaning. That's the point. Verse 5. And just also, like, you might name some, so you'll either most likely give your child or take on the name that references the Most High, Yahweh, by way of Yah or Allah, or you might get a name based off of your characteristics. But it was always a meaning behind the name. Unlike America, Bob, right? or Rail or Brian or Alexis or Alizé, like names that just sound good. Then you get into just making stuff up. The Dominisha, Isha, or something crazy. Like it starts to get like that. People just start coming up with things they like the way it sounds. Yeah, so our culture is there's meaning behind the name. There's meaning behind the name. So that's what we see in the scriptures. We always gave names based off of some either a characteristic of the individual or something going on in the parent's life, or maybe something a characteristic that they wanted their child to uphold in the future. It's always something like that, not just names that sound good. Isha, like that's not what we did. So, verse 5. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons. And his wife unto Moses in the wilderness, where he encamped at the mount of God. Now, real quick, who knows why why in the wilderness this might have happened? That now Moses, his father-in-law, his wife and kids, now they're coming to meet him. Why not like on the other side? Because he left his father-in-law and wife and kids before coming to Egypt. Why all these things is going on? Why they didn't just come and meet him in Egypt and roll out then? Just a quick quiz test everybody's knowledge and memories from previous readings. Nobody? So Moses, when he fled Egypt, he went to where? Midian. He went to Midian, and then he came back to Egypt. Well, the wilderness is on that side where Midian is, right? That's what we pulled up the maps last time. So he's already in the land where he had already came from. Moses already was on this side of the what was it, the Red Sea? What sea they crossed? The Red Sea. He was already been over here and came back. So now they're in the wilderness. They're on the same side as Midian. So now his father-in-law heard about what's been going on. Now he's coming to meet him at the camp. Verse 6. Unto Moses in the wilderness where he encamped at the mount of God. Verse 6. And he said unto Moses, I, thy father-in-law Jethro, and come unto thee, and thy wife, and her 2 sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and did obeisance, and kissed him. And they asked each other of the welfare, and they came into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law, also shows you don't gotta treat heathen like other nations like dirt or garbage. If they treat you well, treat them well, right? If they come into your home, be hospitable. You don't just God don't work that way. He doesn't work that way. So, and we deal with them misunderstandings when street teaching. People just come up and see the poster boards and they assume like it's hate. No, we're bringing out the truth. We're not bringing out hate. We're just bringing out the truth. Like, so we're not out there, throwing trash at the heat. Oh, you ain't an Israelite. Throwing trash, tomatoes, whatever. That's what they do. That's when you get into racist, bigotry. Mm-hmm. There's actions that come behind that. But bringing out truth, bringing out history that actually happened and saying, yo, your ancestors, they did this, didn't they? That's not hate. But so we see in the scriptures, Moses, he didn't treat his father-in-law just because he's a Midianite like the dirt of his feet. He was hospitable, and he did obeisance, kissed him, and was worried about his welfare. Right? So that's something to keep in mind. When dealing with people that they haven't did you harm, you're not supposed to be thinking like, okay, what nation are you? You know, don't give them your half of your house or nothing, but you like God, the Bible says, treat people how you want to be treated. So if ain't nobody did you harm, there ain't no need to do them harm. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and no matter who you are, you can't deny what we just read. So no matter what your belief is, you can't deny what you just read. And the Midianites are our enemy. So don't get it twisted. So it's definitely goes case by case with you know, you can't just say your whole group is bad. So now just because you're of them, you know, I gotta go to war with you. Right?
Right.
Verse 7. And Moses went out to meet his father. I read that. It's like verse 8. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Yahweh delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which Yahweh had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, blessed be Yahweh, who hath delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who hath delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that Yahweh is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. So that also too, just the way Jethro views the things that's happened. Everybody doesn't hate your guts. Now they gotta come to the acceptance that, okay, these niggas, they gonna be on top. Like, yeah, you're the rulers of the earth, and I have to be subject to you. Now that's something that's very far and few in between. But just like we see here, there's gonna be some that's accepting of that. And you're supposed to treat them as such, right? You don't got to return the favor of turning their name to Toby, right? But then there's going to be wicked ones that buck up. The majority hate God. The majority hate the idea of, oh, these niggas, they're going to rule the world. These niggas, they're the Israelites. God loves you above everybody else. Yeah, the majority, they detest that. But not everybody. So that's part of having righteous judgment. You have to judge matters according to, you know, you shall know them by their fruits. Right? Where was that? Well, I read 10, right? Verse 11. Now I know that Yahweh is greater than all gods. For in the thing wherein they dwelt proudly, he was above them. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. And Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before Yahweh. So another thing, does this mean, oh, now he's sacrificing to Yahweh? Is he in the covenant now? No, he's not. Like the scripture says elsewhere, all knees shall bow. So everybody's going to have to worship God, the Most High God, Yahweh. They're all going to have to say he's above all gods. That doesn't mean now they're even with Israel.
Right.
Jethro didn't put himself even with Israel. You know, so that's something that's also debated and thrown out there as well. oh, the nations, everybody gonna have to come and serve the Most High. So now they're in the kingdom, they're evil. That's not what that means. Like, you don't have a choice in the matter. Verse 13. I'll read 12 minutes. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for Yahweh. And Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law, before Yahweh. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto evening? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of Yahweh. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of Yahweh and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away, but thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice, and I will give thee counsel. And Yahweh shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto Yahweh. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men. This is where we're getting into your leaders. Okay? He's about to give you some standards that a leader should be upholding, right? And if you can't keep these standards, you can't be a leader. So he said, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Yahweh. First, you have to fear the Most High, right? You have to fear Yahweh. That means what? Keeping his commandments. You're obedient to the Most High. Men of truth. So you can't be known to just lie. You can't be known to cover your tracks when you know you're wrong by just saying stuff to make yourself sound right. You have to be accountable. Y'all understand that? That means like you can't be given to little lies. Little lies don't make it. It's no big deal. You're supposed to be honest at all times. So if somebody asks you a tough question, that you know it might lead to you being suffering consequences, you're not supposed to be a liar just to get yourself out of trouble. So a leader has to be a man of truth. He has to have a record of that. He has to be known for that, right? Hating covetousness. So a leader has to be a hater of covetousness. Why is that? Why does a leader have to be a hater of covetousness? Who knows? Yeah, set an example. And he's going to be in a position of power where the things he coveted after, he can attain by unjust judgments. He can use people to get, if he can, a leader or a judge say he covets your field, he can use that position of power to say, look, let me get half of that vineyard you got. If you let me get it, and I'm gonna pay you. If you let me get that half, I'm gonna pay you, and guess what? I'm gonna give you a seat under me. I'm gonna advance you. I'm gonna advance you in the courts. I'm gonna advance you. I'm gonna make sure that you are top of your class to be the next set of judges that come along after us. See, and that messes the whole thing up.
Pretty much what we see in modern day pastoring today.
That exactly, we see it in modern day pastoring. We see it in the courthouses. I'm glad you said that. Think about the courthouses. Why are public defenders so trash? Huh? Defenders so trash. Like, I'm talking about their how good they do in defending the clients.
They willing to lie?
Huh?
Willing to lie?
Some most likely, but I'm not going that route. I'm going this route. So the public defenders, they ain't getting the big bucks. But guess what? The prosecutors are, the judges, they can move their way up the ladder by helping certain people out, right? Because the prosecutor, like in the court, who's the higher up on the ladder, the public defender or the prosecutor? Neither of them work for Neither of them work for a private company, but the prosecutor, that's the one that's the dog, right? I want to get up to his level, or even the judge. I want to be the judge. You most likely you're gonna want to get in with them. You're gonna want to play the ball. You're gonna want to play the game with them, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like you're not going to purposely like throw cases, but you're going for what? The prosecutor wants to win. You're gonna push these deals. Hey man, I think they got a good deal on the table. If you don't take it, you look like they don't say you better take it. This is how they work. We could fight it. If we lose, and that dog over there, she got a 95% win percentage. We can fight it. I'll fight it for you if you want. But if we lose, you're gonna get 20. So this 5 they offer, it's kind of lenient. You'll be out before you're 30. But I work for you. What do you want to do? But I recommend this 5. But I'll fight it if you want. See, you just convinced. First off, you showed a lack of confidence in yourself, right? You got him thinking like we can fight, but we're fighting a taller, a steeper climb. Whereas the paid lawyer gonna come in and say he gonna actually fight for you. Yeah, well, they messed up with this, that, and the third, and this is the first offer. Wait, we'll get a lower one if anything, or we'll fight it. And then they'll come back with a lower offer, and they'll be honest with you. Here's your honest chances. But I'll fight with, it's different. But this one, he's getting money. He's trying to advance his firm and become the big name in town. This one, he's trying to get up and be the big man in the building. So he's going to play game. He's going to play ball. And so the prosecutor, they want that win percentage. And you want to get to where the prosecutor's at. And you might want to get to the judge. So you're going to say, okay, look at this deal. It's a good deal. That's an example of a real leader has to be a man of truth, has to fear God, not men, has to be a hater of covetousness. Because if you're a hater of covetousness, you can't be bought. Right. So also, slug it. Able men such as fear Yahweh, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. And so that also shows like order and rank is not wicked, even amongst small congregations. Even like you got a camp of 5, you got somebody that's a leader, as long as he's a able man, fears Yahweh, man of truth, hates covetousness, there's nothing wicked about having rank, having leaders, because it says Moses was he got the advice to having these men in positions of rulers over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and even tens. So if you knock camps or schools for having leadership, uh, men of rank, you either don't know the Bible, don't accept the Bible, or even really you hate the Bible. Right? This is in the book, and some good advice. All scripture is given for our learning and instructions. This is good advice.
It's also the blueprint and the framework for what makes successful companies successful.
Yeah. So just in case they couldn't hear you online, it's a good blueprint for, what did you say again? Success in any field, right? It's a good blueprint for success in any field. A company, sports teams, and you see it in sports teams. The teams with the the teams with the rank and file got the coach, and then got this good assistant coaches, and you got the players. Certain players set as leaders under them. They do the most. They're the most successful. Then the teams that just come out and they don't practice, they don't have structure, but they come to game day and they got the best athletes out of everybody out there, but they getting their ass kicked because they have no structure.
These are the very things we complain about Israel not being able to
Right, exactly. That's one of the major problems with us today as Israelites, in or out the truth, is the lack of that, right? So it's just everybody a free-for-all. It's a free-for-all under a nation that's not a free-for-all, under a nation that's set up with rank and file and rules and regulations and everybody in accordance. So verse 22. And let them judge the people. Let them, what the people? Judge the people. But you can't judge. Nah. We read through this whole Bible, it being a requirement to judge matters.
Right.
The only thing is judge righteously. So, yeah. So verse 22, and let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. If thou shalt do this thing, and God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure. And all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. Verse 26, and they judged the people at all seasons. The hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. Can you do me a favor? Log on to YouTube and just keep an eye on the comments. If there's one that is speaking to me, or I might want to bring out, let me know. Got it? Exodus chapter 19. Verse 1, in the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up to God, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, watch this, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people for all the earth is mine. So because we all know the scripture, the Deuteronomy 7:6, Israel, your peculiar treasure above all nations and kind. But we need to remember, before he came back and said in Deuteronomy, he said it in Exodus, and he gave us the requirement. He gave, like everybody. Somebody's upset. He has to get himself together. Before Deuteronomy in Exodus, he gave us the same. He let us know the same thing, but he gave us the requirement of being that peculiar people, being above all people. We have to keep his commandments. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You notice in 3, it says, as Moses went up to Yahweh, and the Lord called unto him, and saying, thus saith the Lord to the house of Jacob, and he to tell the children of Israel. Is he distinguishing the southern and the northern tribe even back there?
I don't think so. I mean, I see where you would say that. I wouldn't really argue it. But I don't think so because remember, that separation was a result of discretions, committed by Solomon. And we're meant to be all one king. And that whole thing happened. And also, part of the reason that it became two kingdoms was to bless David. Remember, the only reason that the southern kingdom was Solomon, David's seed, getting to still keep a kingdom and keep a portion. And it was due to David. It wasn't due to Solomon, because Solomon was the one to go. No. Well, Solomon went off, and then his son came and went off the same. So he gave the northern kingdom 10 tribes, right? So the only reason, so Saul lost the whole kingdom, right? Saul lost all rulership. No more Benjamin ruling Israel, and David got it. So it would be like if Saul had did good and got promises, and for Saul's sake, now you got these 2 or 3 tribes. So that's how we got northern and southern kingdom. So that's why I don't think so with that, because we're all supposed to be one. I think we see it throughout the Bible, sometimes in the same sentence: house of Jacob, house of Israel. Sometimes it'll say house of Judah, Israel, and he's separating northern kingdoms. If you pay attention, sometimes he'll say Judah and then Israel, but just because he's calling Judah Israel at times after northern kingdom was sent into slavery. Like it's context though, because some people might not get it. But like, for example, when he starts calling Israelites Jews, it's because it's Judah. It's the kingdom of Judah. And then in the New Testament, they'll talk about all Israel, because at this time, Judah is Israel, and Israel's still Israel, but northern kingdom, they're Gentiles. Northern kingdom was cut off. So once they was cut off, you'll find times where Judah is called Israel, because there's never not an Israel. But at the time, that's Israel, Judah. The rest, they don't even count no more. They was cut off. So, context. But I do think in other parts of the Bible, Jacob, Israel is what you just said. Sometimes later on down the line, it'll come out like that. You know, it comes out Jacob, Israel so much that it can't even be the same thing every time. Like even like, okay, Psalm 147, verse 18. He shows his word to Jacob, his statutes and judgments to Israel. It's still talking about Israel all together right there, but it calls both though. Yeah. So where we at? Verse 5, right? So now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. So, like we said, this is the requirement for being that special people above all people. We have to be obedient and keepers of the covenant, which is keeping the commandment. And that's something. This is a good to point out for something we're about to talk about in a minute. The covenant. It says, "If you will obey my voice indeed, and will keep my covenant." If you can keep your covenant, that means you can discard a covenant, can't you? So we're gonna just something to remember as we go. We're about to get into that real soon. So verse 6, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. So a kingdom of priests means what? A kingdom of priests means inside this kingdom we have priests, right? And they're so our Levites, our priests in our kingdom, they do the service of Most High for all us, right? They're the closest to ministers to the Most High. When we read the prophecy of when the kingdom's reestablished, there's still Levites that are priests. So a kingdom of priests that has priests means what? Israel is the Levites to the whole earth. The Levites are the Levites to Israel. Israel is the Levites to the whole earth. Right? So to say that all nations can be equal with Israel would be like saying all tribes could be equal with Levi. Well, that's not true, because when somebody that wasn't a Levite touched the ark to keep it from falling, he was put to death because only a Levite was supposed to touch that ark. So no. The Most High deals with structure and order, and he when he says something is your job and nobody else's, he means just that. Nobody else is supposed to burn incense in the temple. Nobody else is supposed to cook the showbread in the temple. Nobody else is supposed to carry the ark. And when others that's not put here for that do these things, bad things happen. Bad things happen. So it's no way that everybody can be equal to Israel in the kingdom. Israel is going to be a nation of priests, kingdom of priests. And that means all the services and everything that's holy to us is for us and nobody outside of us. That also doesn't mean that we're going to have filthy favelas. Everybody should want Israel to be in charge, because we didn't make the cities the way they are. We didn't set up that structure. You know, Brazil, you got Rio de Janeiro. Looks like millions of people living in shacks on the hill, right? That's not what the kingdom's going to look like. That's not like that's not it. That's what that's fruits of the society of the wicked.
for our kingdom.
These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Verse 7. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh hath spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. So something to see here. All the people spoken and agreed and said, we will do. That's like signing your name on a contract. Right? Because now we're about to start going into this covenant time. So also, this is the laws, what he's commanded, the Moses is laying out, and that we, the people, agreed to. This is the laws of life Yahweh gave to Moses. The laws that were never changed by Christ, nor the apostles, nor by Paul. And the first scripture we're going to go to back this up is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 19, verse 18 to 20. And it reads, the fear of Yahweh is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. The knowledge of the commandments of Yahweh is the doctrine of life. And they that do these things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. And that's an important part as well. Those that do the things that please him. Right? They shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. The fear of Yahweh is all wisdom. And all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotence. You guys can't let him do this. The fear of Yahweh is all wisdom, and all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotence. Baruch 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Where am I? It's like all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Why would it be done away with? These laws are the laws of life, right? And through Christ we get eternal life. So what sense would it make that if we get eternal life through Christ, Christ did away with the laws, we don't got to keep them? These are the laws of life. And do them.
So then we're already addressing both faith and works.
And we're also addressing part of the law. There's stuff in the law that are judgments if you don't do them. So these judgments, they are the law of death. Because the law of life was, you're not supposed to need that judgment of you didn't do it. It was supposed to be you did the things that were pleasing to the Most High. And that's just to show there's also a separation, and that's the point of what we're going into. The laws of life was the do's and the don'ts, and you being obedient to that. That was the laws of life. Still intact today. Verse 2, turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Yahweh are made known unto us. And we're not supposed to give this honor to another. So it's crazy to sit out here and say, I'm just a Christian. Israel is the church now. That's some people that even agree. Like, yeah, we're the Israelites, but I'm just a Christian. Because the Israelites, they failed. It's the church now. The Bible said not to give that honor to another nation. to a strange nation. They don't get that. That's something that men decided to do. That's a doctrine that men decided to make. Men that were of a strange nation, go figure. Men that were of a strange nation decided to put out a doctrine that, the church is the new Israel. The real Israel, they failed. Psalms 40 and 6. Please. Take him outside. Psalms 40 and 6. Sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire. Mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required. Aren't these things in the law? These things are in the law. David is letting us know that they wasn't required, even though they're in the law. Once again, showing a difference between the laws of life and then the laws of judgments, laws that come after not keeping the laws of life. Right? So verse 7, then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart. So the Most High's law is his will. He wants you to do it. That was the whole thing from the beginning. That was what illuminated you. That's what gave you life. The obedience from the beginning. We wasn't supposed to get to the point of having to sacrifice for sins. We were supposed to be obedient. Our sacrifices should have been just in thanks. Our sacrifices should have been just offerings, because acknowledging that, okay, how it gave them to me, I'm gonna give some of it back. We were never supposed to be of the mind, I'm disobedient. Let me make an offering for my disobedience. Jeremiah 7:21-23. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, put your burnt offerings unto your sacrifices, and eat flesh. For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. But this thing I commanded them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your God, and ye shall be my people, and walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. See that? These laws are never done away with. These were the laws were do this, don't do that, and we were supposed to be obedient. And we agreed to it, and that's the next topic. This is where we went into covenant. Back in Exodus, where we were at 19, verse 8, we read it. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahweh. This is where we went into covenant. So now we're the topic today with a lot of people is we're in the new covenant. We're not we're in the old covenant. We're new. We're old. Christ died, so now it's the new covenant. Well, we can see here where we actually went into covenant. We signed our names on the dotted line by saying, all that Yahweh has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned that word to Yahweh. That was us agreeing to the deal, right? As a people, by the way. So now, real quick, definition of covenant. Definition of a covenant is an agreement. That's the noun or verb. Agree by lease, deed, or other legal contract. But when you voice something, that's a legal contract with the Most High. So we covenanted with the Most High and came into the covenant when we agreed to it. And we said, what Yahweh has spoken, we will do. Right? So, if we're in the new covenant, when did we return word as a nation of agreement with the new contract? This is something that you should think about. This is something that you should ask yourself. If we're in a new covenant, when did we, as a people, return word that we agree in all that Yahweh said we will do? Huh? We don't have one. We haven't, as a people, all went and agreed to any new covenants. Next question. Are we even in covenant at all? I don't think a lot of people even think about this. So that's the question I want to pose. Are we even in covenant at all? Now, we're definitely been promised something. Abraham was promised. Isaac was promised. Jacob was promised that all those are for Israel. The covenants are for Israel. But is there times when we're not in covenant? Because the covenant is the agreement. So we just proved that. We agreed to the covenant. The covenant is a contract. So before I go into the scriptures, you're signed to the Eagles, right? You sign the agreement. You're getting so much money per year. If you do some great things on the field, you get some bonuses, right? You reach so many yards and catch so many passes. Then there's also behavioral stipulations. If you get arrested for DUI or maybe raping your girlfriend, fired, we don't owe you money. You can't fight us in court. And that's written in the contract, and you signed it. You go and you get a DUI. You broke your contract. The contract says now you're fired. So if a covenant, so once you've broken it, you're not in covenant contract with them anymore. Right. So take him out, please. He's not glass. You can pick him up. Hold on real quick. All right, Salakia. All right. Are we in covenant at all? So let's go to the scriptures. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9 to 15. Know therefore that Yahweh thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to the 1,000 generations. Well, hold up. How can there be, if you're in covenant no matter what, right? How can there be a stipulation that I keep covenant with and mercy with them that love me and keep my commandments? Because the part of the covenant is this stipulation. So the question is, are we in covenant at all? Well, the first precept we're seeing, Yahweh keeps covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to the 1,000 generations. This is his words. Verse 10, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. So this is the contract that we agreed to. We said all that you say will do. And he said, if you love me and you do these things, I'm in covenant with you. These are things we shouldn't look over. And when we argue what he said, we actually see that a lot. People argue what Christ said, but then they say, I'm in Christ. Christ said this, but I think that. That's some prideful shit, ain't it? I'm coming in contract with you. You set the rules, and I agree to them, but then I say, I'm not doing them, and I don't agree to that. And I'm still in contract with you because I said so. It's funny. It's very laughable.
We also see that covenant is also generational. That your father could sign you in on the deal. Mm-hmm. It says your father. Right? Mm-hmm. And because the covenant is broke does not mean that there's no debt. Mm-hmm. There's no reconciliation for the failure of the contract. Mm-hmm.
Yep, this is to the nation, to the, like you said, to the children's, because also we know about regeneration. We could have very well be in this room right now and been here agreeing to that. We could have been. We don't know anything before our birth because that's the way the Most High also set it up. But we, through the scriptures, we know about regeneration.
Right. And also what you were saying before, going good and evil. That's like when we're talking to Esau, and Esau says that I haven't been here. I did nothing at all, but yet he is the beneficiary.
He's the beneficiary.
There was a time period as him being our God, even just delivering us out of Egypt is a benefit, right? Unharmed. And because we are participants or we're benefactors of the Most High's hand being on us, that still binds us to the contract.
Yep. Yeah.
Just as well as it does Esau for his or the other nations for their wrongdoing to us. Because that was part of the contract as well, being a protective shield for Israel. So he's still carrying that out then and still now.
Yep. And also, like you're talking about being a beneficiary, if you want to separate from the things that your forefathers did, well, how about correct them? So you're a beneficiary of the things they did, like everything that you have. You got the Cottonelle Company, all the businesses ran by descendants of the slave masters, and then even the beneficiaries under them, the trickle down. How about start giving it back, and then you can separate from, but who's going to do that? So you refuse to give it back because you refuse to give it back because you feel like you had nothing to do with it. But you refuse to give it back. You agree to keep eating off of it. But I thought you didn't have nothing to do with it. If you didn't have nothing to do with it, how are you the beneficiary of it? You should stop eating off it. It don't belong to you, right? But yeah, that's where we get it. That's where it just, they're not trying to agree with that. They don't know the word, and they don't know just righteous reasoning. And that comes out when you talk to them. They speak.
And as soon as you start to generate the receipts, they want to run out the back door of the restaurant.
Yeah, they flee when no man pursues, right? They want to first. They might have a fit first. They might get on the boardwalk and say, "I kissed and bowed to Jesus," and but you can't stop shaking. You can't stop. You can't even control your limbs. But yeah, and then you run because the truth is coming out.
And America has Salaki. And America has lived deliciously off of the children of the Most High.
Facts.
And now they don't want to pay their bill. They're trying to figure out how to get out from paying the bill.
Well, shoot. Now it's like even beyond that. They're trying to stick it to us again. Like so I've decided I don't want to pay the bill, and now guess what? I want to stick it to you again and show you how much I don't have to. So look, Medicaid or whatever acts of treating people the same. What's it called? Civil Rights Acts, like the one they just took away.
Right.
They help women and colored people. What was that? The DEI or something?
Yeah. Equal
opportunity. Yeah, we're gonna take that. Times are hard, but you know what? We're gonna take that. We said you had equal opportunity. We're gonna backtrack on that. But hey, I'm not my father's. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Well, damn. Well, you should be trying to help out more than and not backtracking the little bit they did.
Well, how can you renege on the deal that your father had made if you had nothing?
Yeah, you had nothing to do. How can you? Mm-hmm. That's something. That's mind-boggling right there. How can you? Mm-hmm. All right, let's go. Verse 12. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments and keep and do them, that Yahweh thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. Hey, what y'all doing back there? What are we? Give me a real quick. What are we reading? What are we reading? You don't know? Okay, so attention. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments and keep and do them, that Yahweh thy God shall keep thee unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. How do we keep covenant? How do we keep God in covenant with us? Go. That's a contract. I just read it. Keep the commandments. That's how. See, y'all got to. No, you're worrying about other things. You need to be focused. Verse 13. And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, thy corn and thy wine and thine oil, the increase of thine kind and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle. Now, these things, we see that we didn't keep the deal, and he's restrained himself from these things, right? Well, then that would mean he meant what he said about covenant period, wouldn't it? Right. Verse 14. And Yahweh will take away from thee all sickness. Ain't we sick? A lot of us? Because we didn't keep up our part of the deal. Well, he said, for me to be in covenant with you, you have to keep up part of the deal. So we're seeing he meant what he said with all the other things, so he must have meant it with that too.
Once again, we see that it's a work.
A work.
Faith and works.
Right. Yep. And the fact, and it shows if you don't do the works, you didn't have the faith because you don't believe. He's telling you. He's letting us know from all the way to the beginning of the book, the stipulations of me being in covenant with you. And you can say you're in covenant with me all day, but I'm telling you what keeps me in covenant with you. Will take from thee all sickness, and will put none of these evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. Are they laid on everybody that hates us? No, they're not. So that's one. He says, he says, you got stipulations for me to keep covenant with you, whether you say you in covenant or not. Jeremiah, let's go Jeremiah 11, verse 1 to 11. And it reads, the word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, hear ye the words of this covenant, and speak unto the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And say thou unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, the God of Israel, Cursed be the man that obeyeth not the words of this covenant, which I commanded your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, from the iron furnace, saying, Obey my voice and do them, according to all which I command you. So shall ye be my people, and I will be your God. Verse 5, that I may perform the oath which I have sworn unto your fathers. So for him to perform the oath, we had to be obedient and do what he commanded. To give them a land flowing with milk and honey, as it is this day. So this is the covenant. So the covenant is the agreement he made. There's stipulations of what we have to do, right? And then it's also stipulations what we get in return, being above all people. This is part of the covenant. So being in this covenant, and both parties are in this covenant, and both parties are upholding their side, means we're obedient and we're getting blessed. We are, where am I at? Verse 5. We're in a land flowing with milk and honey. Like it says, as it is this day. So we're above all people. We're in a land flowing with milk and honey. The fruit of our womb is blessed. Our people ain't sick. You know, all those blessings that you read in Deuteronomy 28, 1-15. That's if we obey. That's what he's going to do. That's when he's in covenant. You know he's in covenant by us being blessed. That's what you read. Verse 6. Then Yahweh said unto me, Proclaim all these words in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, saying, Hear ye the words of this covenant, once again, and do them. For I earnestly protested to your fathers in the day that I brought them up out of the land of Egypt, even unto this day, rising early and protesting, saying, Obey my voice. Yet they so he sent and he sent and he sent to and said he said from the beginning, obey my voice. It's what it's about. It's what the covenant's about. Shalom. A covenant requires obeying his voice. Verse 9. Wait, no, I'm go back. 8. Yet they obeyed not, nor inclined their ear, but walked every one in the imagination of their evil heart. Therefore, I will bring upon them all the words of this covenant. So because that you in the covenant won't obey, I will bring upon them all the words of this covenant, which I commanded them to do, but they did them not. That's the punishments. And Yahweh said unto me, a conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, which refused to hear my words, and they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant. See that? The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. Why? Because we broke the covenant. Now, I'm not in covenant with you because I said for me to be in covenant with you, you have to obey me. That's what we read. And it says we broke the covenant. A covenant is a contract. Like I brought out earlier. You sign a contract with the Eagles. You're going to get all this money. If you do good, you're going to get bonuses if you do good. But if you do bad, you do certain things, you're fired. I don't owe you money. You can't fight me in a legal battle to get none of the money because you're signing on this line that you agree this is our covenant. This is our contract. And when you break it, you can stand in front of The Eagle Stadium, all you want with a picket sign, a cardboard cutout, yelling and hollering that I'm still supposed to be paid. I'm in contract with the Eagles. They're doing me wrong. It don't matter. You broke the contract.
If I may say, where we read the scripture that says, raise your children up in the ways of the Lord so that when they are older, they will not depart.
Yeah.
That right there is not just a commandment. That's a warning.
Mm-hmm. That's a warning.
Because there are people that are not even in the sack of Abraham at this time, that their signatures going on this contract.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you got to let them know. Mm-hmm. You bring them into the world. This contract is with you and them. And actually, you think about it, they were in the loins of their forefathers before they came out. The forefathers that made this agreement. Is it Hebrews? But you read Levi paid tithes to Melchizedek when Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek. So when these cats in the wilderness, everybody that was in the loins of their fathers and wasn't even in their own body yet, they agreed to. Let's go Malachi chapter 2, verse 1-9. Verse 1. And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. If you will not hear, and if you will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, saith Yahweh, saith the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yea, I've cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart. Behold, I will corrupt your seed, and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feasts, and one shall take you away with it. Verse 4. And ye shall know, that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith the Lord of hosts. My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for fear wherewith he feared me, and was afraid before my name. So just showing once again the covenant with Levi. He gave him this covenant, and the covenant is of life and peace. So when he's in covenant with you, it means a sign of that is your life, the life and peace that you've received from him. And he gave it to him for a reason. It said to him for fear wherewith he feared me, and was afraid before my name. So just showing once again the stipulations. He's not just giving. You aren't in covenant if you're worshiping other gods. Why would anybody bless and be in covenant with somebody that's off in covenant with something else? Right? That wouldn't even make sense.
Right. You can't have two marriage contracts.
Yeah, you can't. And what kind of fool would I be chasing after you that has no intentions of any dealings with me? Verse 6. The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they that seek the law in his mouth, for he is the messenger of Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. But ye are departed out of the way. Now here comes the but. But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according as you have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law. His covenant with Levi was life and peace. And then there was but you didn't keep your side, so I'm not giving you the life and peace. That's showing the contract's broken.
Slocky, it's sad that people use that verse 8 as reason not to keep the law.
Yeah.
They'll say, you caused many to stumble at the law, as if this is saying not to keep the law. Because you don't stumble by keeping the law.
Yep. Because obviously when you read the context and you read the whole thing, it's showing that they didn't do that. They caused by giving a bad example, or just like the Pharisees, making up different stuff.
Yeah, tradition.
Not traditions. Right. Thank you. Yeah, now you gotta wash your hands before you eat. Yeah, and now you don't gotta honor your father and mother. That's what it means.
That the law of God is nothing more than a stumbling block.
Yeah, you teach. You're not teaching the law. Right. The law was supposed. The truth was in his mouth at one point, and it says, "For his lips should keep knowledge." Then it says, "But." That "but" means, like you said, he wasn't doing it. That's why there's a but. But you failed at that. And now I'm going to fail at being in covenant with you. I'm not going to be. Verse 9. We're going down to, did I say we're going to 9 or further? Okay. No, I left off at 9. Now, real quick, we know that Levi is the Haitians. So the covenant with Levi is the same as the covenant with Israel. The covenant is, if you're obedient, you do what you're supposed to do, you're blessed. The fruit of your womb is blessed. You're in a land of flowing milk and honey. You're not the top nation in sicknesses and diseases, right? When you break that, now I'm not in covenant with you. And the sign of that is I'm not doing my part of the covenant, which is blessing you. So Haiti, let's look at Haiti, the Levites. Let's see if they're in covenant, today. Because we're also talking about, are we in new covenant? Christ came, now we're back, we're in a new covenant. Well, let's look at the Haitians today. Same as us, they're in a down condition. But we're going to see the Haitians are even worse. So I'm going to just, before I get into it, give it away. The Haitians are like in the worst condition of all the tribes, the Levites. And we just read the covenant was they'd be blessed. Then there was a but, and now you're not. Haiti has been gripped by spiraling gang violence ever since the 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moise. I think I'm saying that right. The subsequent unrest, Moussa.
Well, the French.
You know what's funny about it?
Like Toussaint, and then my real name Jacques.
Okay. You know what's funny about it though? It looks like Moses.
Yeah.
Moise. Who's a Levite. The subsequent unrest has displaced 1 million people, more than half of them children, according to the International Organization for Migration. Now some images of Haiti. Mind you, same island Dominican Republic's on. Dominican Republic ain't going through this, don't look like this. It's destroyed. You see in the photo, it's destroyed in Haiti right now. Terrible living conditions. Sanctions.
It's because of their revolt. But the French been making them pay back. They never get out of debt with the French.
Okay, there you go.
Because of the revolt.
This looks like a place that's been bombed, except no bombs have been dropped. No bombs have been dropped, but it looks can be deceiving.
The DR, they sided with French. French, they go back up under French rule. But the Haitians, they decided that they wanted to be a self-rule, so they put sanctions on them, and France is military missions to the DR Republic, but over here, low-paying jobs,
same landmass,
same people.
Yeah. And look how they got their freedom. Look how they got their freedom. French gonna be hitting them as long as they can. They got their freedom with the sword.
Yeah.
Like nobody forgets. Even America, 9/11, they say what? Never forget. Nobody forgets.
They turn on themselves. That's it.
And that's how bad a condition it is. They ain't nothing left but. It's like Haiti is like that movie Escape from LA. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Haiti's like Escape from it's. Well, so they turned LA. LA had broken off from California through an earthquake, and it was an island. And what they did is everybody's left on the mainland. All the criminals and people, the scum of the society, like they sent to LA. Yeah, it's basically a big prison. Except for it's not a building. It's like Haiti. It's just separated from the world. Y'all ain't getting nothing. Y'all just surviving off whatever you can, killing each other, stealing from each other. And that's what Haiti's looking like to me.
And it fulfills one of the curses that's part of the contract. Thy eyes shall be evil towards thy brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like y'all all, and that's what's crazy. Y'all all are really effed up right now. And instead of teaming together and rising up together and maybe even invading, maybe even start crossing the borders, Dominican Republic, like Issachar do here. Yeah. Nah, we just gonna war it out. Have gang wars and political wars and whatever other type of wars you can think about.
When you go over to the DR side, their time is limited in monitoring.
Yeah, that's why they all got to come together and be millions of Haitians with machetes running across that border. Like, look, we're going to get along or we're going to not. It can be the easy way or the hard way. Choice is yours.
It's for the Esau.
Because at this point, y'all, they just killing each other, so might as well just all team up. And look, it's live or die, but we going with machetes. We're going to share this island. We're going to team up something, but it can't. We're not going to. The answer ain't just, we're going to starve and kill each other. But this is what's happening, and it just shows like the way they getting hit like those that were supposed to be the last to do wickedness, supposed to be an example. They're getting in that switch, like the one that wasn't supposed to do these things. So since you were supposed to be the example and you decided to do what they doing, you getting the worst of the switch because you were supposed to be the one to raise them up. The older brother gets the worst, right? You were supposed to be the example to the little brother. That's what Haiti looks like. The way they getting hit, it looks like what you would think would happen to Levi for what Levi did. By like you're the top tribe of all the tribes. You really like Judah got the kingship, but you the priestship. All the tribes have to feed you. Everything that the kingship that Judah gets in spoil, they gotta bring a portion to you. Issachar gotta bring a portion to you. And then you mess that up, you gonna get it the worst then. Mm-hmm.
But that brings the understanding why the spiritual and physical warfare that goes against Haiti is as it is. That the Western powers know that as long as you can suppress that voice that the nation's supposed to, the 12 tribes supposed to listen to, or get their law from, is in disarray, the body can be dismembered for a longer time.
Oh, another thing, right? Haitians, they very religious too. Like they got their own churches, right? You had some Levites that was disciples, apostles, right? Well, if there's a new covenant in Christ, and most Haitians, the ones that ain't in the voodoo, are Christians.
Yeah.
Why is it this way? You're in new covenant. Go down. Back to Malachi 2, chapter 2, verse 10. Have we not all one Father? Have not one God created us? Why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother? By profaning the covenant of our fathers. So we break the covenant and profane the covenant. Judah have dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah have profaned the holiness of Yahweh, which he loved, and have married the daughter of a strange God. So marriage is also a contract. So you've broken this contract, and you've gone and went and made another contract with a strange God. Verse 12. Yahweh will cut off the man that doeth this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Jacob, and him that offereth an offering unto the Lord of hosts. And this have ye done again, covering the altar of Yahweh with tears, with weeping, and with crying out. Is anybody in there, y'all? I don't think so. And with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering anymore, or receiveth it with good will at your hand. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because Yahweh hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Who's the wife of your youth? No. The covenant. The covenant you was in with God. Your wife is the laws, what he gave you. That was what you were supposed to cleave to, the commandments. He's also talking about both now, though. Remember, he switched to Judah. Because he's really talking about the covenant period, but in that covenant, it involved the Levites having their position. But everybody, and he's going in on Levi because they were supposed to be, if anything, the ones that didn't. But so now it's talking about both. Yahweh have been a witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. See that? Who's the wife of the covenant? No, it's talking parabolic. The laws, the obedience to the commandments. Because remember, the wife of thy covenant is you being obedient to the Most High. He gave you your wife the laws, the statutes, the commandments, right? And remember above, he just said, Judah, you went and married the daughter of a strange God. Did you actually? It's not talking about he actually married a woman. It's talking about the ways, the rights, the doctrines, even the laws that come with it. Because America got laws. Christianity has rules and regulations. Yeah, you can marry whoever you want, even though it's wicked. But you love each other. We'll sign off on it. Just come to have a priest doing the what's it called when he stands at the front. The vows and just the service, whatever, So we left that. The wife of the covenant was what keeps us in the covenant. We left off that.
Just as a wife is a covenant, so it's a law.
Mm-hmm. Right. And even like just to more on the point. Remember, Solomon said, "I wanted to make wisdom my wife." Right, I don't want to go there, but you know the scripture, right? Yeah, even one part said wisdom's like my mother, right? So that's what it's talking about here. It's not talking about actual physical women and being in relationships with women. So, but it's talking about the covenant. You broke the covenant, just like you have a marriage agreement. You went outside the marriage. You committed adultery. Constantly. And like I think you walked in after, but even we started with in the Torah in Deuteronomy, he said, I'm going to keep covenant with where you paraphrasing Israel, the Most High will keep covenant with those that love and fear him, keep the commandments. That was the Most High saying that. So the stipulations for being in the covenant, we could say it all day. I'm in covenant with God. I'm in covenant with Christ. But the Most High said, well, I'm going to keep covenant with you if you do this, that, and the third. So when you didn't do this, that, and the third, he's letting you know, I'm not in covenant with you. Care what you say. I'm the head of this covenant. I'm the owner of the football team. If I put you out them doors, you out them doors. I don't care what you say. You can come to the building with your jersey on every day if you want. You've been put out. Psalms 89, 18 to 45.
We know that the covenant is made by promise, right?
Yeah.
And that promise is to Abraham, so that the Most High is still working through Abraham, the promise he made to Abraham.
And you also that's where a promise. The promise is a promise. The covenant is a contract. Now both belong to Israel, but you can be out of a covenant because it's a contract, and because he never broke the covenant. We did. Now the promise is a promise he made. So the promise can't be broke, and it's not an agreement where it don't matter. We don't have an input in it. That's where the difference is. Sometimes people act like the covenant is the promise. Covenant is the contract, which the covenant would be forever, but he gives the stipulation that we didn't uphold. So
he promised to be a God to Abraham's children, but he also is one who proves the olive tree.
Yeah. Yep. He cleanses the olive tree. That's what you said?
Yeah.
Right. So, and then in that cleansing, so where's the promise come into effect? Where the covenant is forever? Covenants are broken, but he promises, I'm going to bring a new covenant. So what's missing in between, I think a lot of people miss out on is, well, there's an old covenant. To have a new covenant means the old covenant had to have been broken, right? And then they just put in there that there's no gap in between each. And in the gap is no covenant. Men have decided that there was no gap. Christ died, new covenant. Old covenant done, Christ died, new covenant. Well, nah, there's a gap. There's a gap. You can see the gap because the covenant is, when I'm in covenant with you, you're blessed. For you to be in covenant with me, you're obedient. That's what the Bible.
Breaking of it, right?
The gap comes after breaking up, and that gap is not being in covenant, however long that is. Right. But yeah, breaking means there's no covenant, right? Contract is broken.
When we say that gap is where the Most High is petitioning back to his bride. So this exercise or this era of grace is the Most High trying to.
That's where we're at now.
Yes.
But it's also that gap is the punishment.
Yes.
The punishment, like another thing they kind of seems like they confuse is, oh, you're in the curses of the punishments of the old covenant, you're in the old covenant. No, the punishments weren't a part of the covenant. The punishments were for you breaking the covenant. The punishments are when you're out of covenant. In covenant is Deuteronomy 28, 1 to 15. That's in covenant. 15 and down is, oh, I'm done with you. You're out of covenant. So it's not in the, you can say it's punishment to the old covenant because that's where it's written, but no, it's punishment. It's you out of, part of punishment is you're out of covenant because the covenant is these things that happen in 15 to 68 don't happen to you. The Most High keeps these things from happening to you. That's covenant. The covenant.
Come back for him to even consider.
Right. And the only thing that keeps us in there, right. And the only thing that keeps us in there is the promise that you're never done for good. But that's not the covenant. That's the promise. All right, Psalm 89, 18 to 45. For Yahweh is our defense, and the Holy One of Israel our King. Then thou spakest in vision to thy Holy One, and says, I have laid help upon one that is mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people. Verse 20. I have found David my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him. With whom my hand shall be established, mine arm also shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness afflict him. And I will beat down his foes before his face, and plague them that hate him. But my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted. I will set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the rivers. He shall cry unto me, Thou art my Father, my God, and the rock of my salvation. Also, I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven. Watch this, even with this covenant. If his children forsake my law and walk not in my judgments, if they break my statutes and keep not my commandments, then will I visit their transgression with the rod, and their iniquity with stripes. Nevertheless, my loving kindness will I not utterly take from him, nor suffer my faithfulness to fail. My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that is gone out of my lips. So he won't break his covenant with David. But as you see, he'll be punished if he breaks it. Verse 35. Once have I sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David. His seed shall endure forever, and his throne is the sun before me. It shall be established forever as the moon, and as a faithful witness in heaven. Salah. So, like, does David have his throne now? Or are we waiting for Christ to come back? Like, Christ has the throne, yeah, but the throne on earth. But he said he wouldn't do this. Because he won't. It will be forever. But
yeah, it's Christ from the sea.
Yeah. And it is going to be back and be forever. But there's still this gap of punishment. But thou hast but this, like, the but means just showing that there is stipulations to every contract he makes. But thou hast cast off and abhorred. Thou hast been wroth with thine anointed. Thou hast made void the covenant. Oh, this is David speaking. But because David's sons, they failed to keep up their side. So he said, Thou hast made void the covenant of thy servant. See what I mean? We just read 34. His covenant will he not break. But David's saying here, Thou hast made void the covenant of thy servant. Thou hast profaned his crown by casting it to the ground. There's punishment. The whole purpose I went here is to show punishment is the voiding out of the contract. See, but this contract was a forever contract. So it's going to be reestablished. But when we go off and we're in punishments, we're in curses, the covenant is voided. That's why it says, Thou hast made void the covenant of thy servant. Thou hast profaned his crown by casting it to the ground. Thou hast broken down all his hedges. Thou hast brought his strongholds to ruin. All that pass by the way spoil him. He is a reproach to his neighbors. Thou hast set up the right hand of his adversaries. Thou hast made all his enemies to rejoice. Thou hast also turned the edge of his sword, and hast not made him to stand in the battle. Thou hast made his glory to cease, and cast his throne to the ground. All these things are what you have when he's in covenant with you. And it's not void. Verse 45, the days of his youth hast thou shortened. Thou hast covered him with shame. Salah. You see that? So Going to show when in covenant, the Most High keeps us in. When we break the covenant, He makes void the covenant. Christ, who was deaf, instituted the new covenant, said we would be under the rod until His return. So we showed that being under the rod, being in punishments, we showed that that's a sign. That's when the Most High is not in covenant with us. When the Most High is in covenant with us, we're blessed. The signs that He's made void His covenant, we're punished. We're under the rod. So Christ, He prophesied that, who quote unquote instituted that new covenant. He said that we would be under the rod until His return. Luke 21:20-22.
Hey, he found them. Look, he found them. I don't know.
It reads, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. What's written that may be fulfilled? Deuteronomy 31:8. Deuteronomy 31:8 is exactly Deuteronomy 31:8. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy God, and shalt obey His voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy God gather thee, and from thence will He fetch thee. And Yahweh thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And He will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. This is the laws being written on your mind, by the way. Yahweh is circumcising your heart, that you love Him with all thine heart, with all thy soul. That's keeping the commandments. This is talking about the same thing we read of the new covenant. Verse 7, and Yahweh thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all His commandments, which I command thee this day. That's what Christ said. All must be fulfilled. That's written. Verse 23 back in Luke.
21.
Chapter 21, yeah, verse 23. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the Gentiles be fulfilled. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And he spake to them a parable. Behold the fig tree and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise, ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of God is nigh at hand. Next point, the new covenant clearly promises the children of Israel will not sin anymore, right? Nor be punished and removed from the land ever again. So where are we at now? America. Far in the land of our captivity, far away from Israel. New covenant says that wouldn't happen. So let's go there. Jeremiah 31, 31 to 40. And we wicked as hell. Says we will not sin anymore. Deuteronomy 30 said that after the blessing and the curse, the Most High would circumcise our hearts. That would be him writing the laws on our mind himself. We can't go off. Jeremiah 31, 31. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them. See that? We read earlier, the wife of thy youth, right? Because the Most High was the husband. Shalaki. Husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts as circumcising of your mind. And write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. Verse 34. And they shall, watch this, teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Thus saith Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. So that cuts the church being Israel now and in the covenant. Part of the new covenant promise is Israel will never be not a nation before the Most High. Verse 37. Thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel, for all they have done, saith Yahweh. Side note, this is why Fard Muhammad taught Elijah, who taught Minister Farrakhan, that he knows the measurements of the sea and the earth and all that bullshit that nobody can prove. And yeah, it sounds good because they learn how to, they say it so smoothly and they go through all these numbers. This is why, because this was an agenda by Esau from the get-go, and they know this is in the Bible. They definitely know. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the cities shall be built to Yahweh from the tower of Hanil unto the gate of the corner. And the measuring line shall yet go forth over against it upon the hill Gareb, and shall compass about to Goth. And the whole valley of the dead bodies and of the ashes and all the fields unto the brook of Kidron, unto the corner of the horse gate toward the east, shall be holy unto Yahweh. Watch this. It shall not be plucked up, nor thrown down anymore forever. Israel is getting bombed. Even the Israel without getting bombed is all built on top of thrown down buildings and remains. How can you be in new covenant with all these things that are exact opposite of what the new covenant would be? Not to mention where we started at, Yahweh said, I'll be in covenant with those and have mercy with those that love me, keep my commandments. Root 2:29 to 35. Then we're going to go back to Exodus and finish that out and close out. So Baruch 2, verse 29 to 35. If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. That's what we see today. Israel remembering ourselves in the land of our captivity. Verse 31, and shall know that I am Yahweh their God, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. And for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before Yahweh. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. Verse 35. And I will make an everlasting covenant. This is the new covenant, and it's everlasting. I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God. They shall be my people. And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. We've been driven out of the land. We're trying to get back into the land. We're trying to make it to verse 34. And new covenant comes to verse 35. And once we've gone back, then he makes the new covenant, and that involves never being driven away again.
What you read on 34, and I will bring them again into the land which I have promised with the oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We're looking at the signatures.
Mm-hmm. Right. Also, another point, I just thought about it. And one of the I forgot, but one of the reasons I had to throw in what makes Yahweh in covenant with us. And remember, I keep saying, like, I can say I'm in covenant with him all day, but he said he's only in covenant with me if I'm doing this, that, and third. Because stipulations, right? And one of the reasons it has to be pointed out too is because I know UPK, their stance is we're in the new covenant, because when you come into Christ, you come in the new covenant, even though we're in captivity. He acknowledges all those points, but it's like, yeah, well, when you come into Christ, you agree, you come into the covenant. Okay, so Yahweh said, if you're not doing these things, I'm not in covenant with you. So they can say they're in the new covenant all they want. You're putting yourself in there. He's not in covenant. He gives out the requirements. Deuteronomy 30, Jeremiah 31, Baruch chapter 2. Part of before this covenant comes in, we're in the land of our captivities, remembering ourselves. Then the covenant comes in back in the land. Us remembering ourselves ain't us each individually. Now we're walking into the covenant. I'm in the covenant. The rest of Israel, they out in celebrate, having block parties last night because the 4th of July. But I'm in covenant. That ain't Bible. Yahweh said, you niggas doing that, I'm not in covenant with you. We're blessed to be part of this, remembering ourselves. But before we're in covenant as a nation, not individuals. So we're exercising patience and faith while we wait for the rest of our brothers and sisters to do the same thing that we've been doing and come into the fold with us. Till one day we're returned, and then we go into covenant. And the same way, and just like we pointed out earlier, when we went into covenant, it involved us as a nation signing with our mouths the contract. We said, all that you say, we will do. So it's not an individual thing where you can now I've been awoken, I'm in the covenant. Mm-hmm. Nah, we got, if that's the case, how come it wasn't, I'm keeping the commandments, I'm not going to Babylon to be in the house of the eunuchs. Daniel went into the house of the eunuchs because it's a nation thing.
That would be showing true brotherly love too, because you're not just saying like, okay, it's just about me. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure my brother, sister, whatever, is good as well.
Yep.
That's a selfish mindset.
Mm-hmm. So on terms of the covenant, I think we showed that there ain't no old or new for us right now. The old we broke. The Most High cut us off. That's showing he's not in covenant with us. He's in covenant with us. He's keeping us good. Right. We're waiting for that new covenant. And that's because we've been promised it, and that can't be broken. So right now we're in punishment. We're not in covenant as a people. The old covenant was broken. The new covenant has not been established yet. Christ already died for it. He's already sacrificed and shed the blood for it, but we're not in it yet. Same way, like
the bidding for the marriage.
Yeah, even same way we read a few readings back. While we was in Egypt, he says in covenant with us, but we didn't come into the covenant until the wilderness.
Yeah,
right. So Exodus 19:9-25 will flow through this and then close out. Yeah, 9-25. Perfect. I think it's a flow through. Exodus 19:9. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. Verse 12, and thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned, or shot through, whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning, that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Yahweh. They stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because of Yahweh descended upon it in fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and Yahweh answered him by a voice. And Yahweh came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mount, and Yahweh called Moses up to the top of the mount. And Moses went up. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto Yahweh the gates, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which come near to Yahweh, sanctify themselves, lest Yahweh break forth upon them. And Moses said unto Yahweh, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, Set bounds about the mount, and sanctify it. And Yahweh said unto him, Away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto Yahweh, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. So that's it. We'll pick up next week at Exodus 20, 10 Commandments, then going into a lot of the law even after that. So yeah.
Oh my gosh,
All right.